Well, I don't have a lot to say, but I wanted to just say that I want to remember Debbie as the sweet little girl that I met when she was 4 years old and my brother and her mother married. She was the little girl who would come up and take your hand as you were walking along. But Debbie had two serious issues to deal with. One was a speech problem that made her difficult to understand, and the other one was a learning disability, which I shared with her and know how difficult it is to be very bright but not look bright in the eyes of teachers and parents and everyone around you because you can't read and you can't write. And I remember visiting them in Germany, and she was very excited. She came home one day. She'd been fishing with a neighbor, and she was so excited about this fishing trip, and she wanted to talk to somebody about it. Well, several of you know that I have a thing about fish, that I'm not real. It doesn't do most for me. But I sat there and listened to her talk about putting the worms on the hook and all of this. And she was just cuddling up and wanted to be, she was like junior high age at that time. And then we would sit, and she would sit right beside me and struggle to read. I'd try to work with her to read her assignment at that point. She then graduated from high school and still couldn't read. And I convinced my parents, her grandparents, to pay for a school in Cincinnati that claimed they could help people with those kinds of issues. So she came to live with me for 2 months. We had not a crossword in 2 months, except one evening I didn't come home on time. I stayed after work with some friends, and when I got home she was in tears, so worried that something had happened to me. But other than that, there was not one crossword between us. And she did learn to read then. She told me later, when she had a doctor who gave her some Ritalin, that after that she went to another doctor's office and she picked up a magazine, a People magazine, and read it for the first time. She said, "I've never done that before, and it's because of Grandma and Grandpa paying for me to learn to read." So these are the things I think of, and the fact that she had 3 wonderful children, 2 of them that she actually shared with me completely, and it's been a joy for Craig and for me. So this is the sweet young girl I'm going to remember.
I had to put all mine down in writing so I wouldn't mess this up. Before we start, I want to thank Claudia for being with my mom and helping her out with everything that, like, at the end, just being there and taking care of her while she suddenly had gotten ill and ended up in the hospital. Thank you all for being here today. Admittedly, this is a very emotional and challenging time for me, and I'm sure for many of you as well. It hasn't been easy to accept this situation. Losing my mom is a deeply painful experience. It comes with a hurricane of emotions, processing and reflection. My mind wants to reject it all, but put it in a box and ignore it. But this is a reality. My mom is no longer with us in this world. I don't know how you can summarize or speak to an entire life, but I can just focus on a couple things that stands out most to me. She was a mom that would make me Velveeta mac and cheese because it was my comfort food. And as all you very well know, Mom was an exceptional cook, and it drove her crazy. That's what I wanted every night for dinner. But she did it because she loved me. She had such a curiosity when it came to tinkering and fixing things. Very much like myself, just a passion to want to fix something and figuring a solution for it if you don't know the answer yourself. A mom so worried about her child that after being told by a neighbor that her son was hit by a car, that she ran out so fast out of the apartment she slipped on the stairs and it ended up breaking her leg. I, however, was completely fine, but in that moment she thought I was in real danger, and she responded accordingly. Everyone knew my mom. To them, she was always one to help out, cooking for or bringing food to those who couldn't for themselves, listening without judgment if they needed someone to talk to. She had a caring heart and wasn't afraid of helping a complete stranger. I think that's how she made so many friends, collected them like stray cats, knowing that they all deserve to be helped, cared for, or shown they aren't alone. No one is perfect. My mom may have had her demons, but in spite of that, she always made sure I knew she loved me and how proud she was of me and my sisters. I wouldn't be the man, son, nephew, or most importantly, the friend I am today if it wasn't for my mom. I'll leave you with these last words, a fitting example of the influence she had on me, and I hope on some of you here as well today. A quote from Winnie the Pooh. "You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think." I'll miss you, Mom. Well, thank you all so much for being here today to honor my mom. I know that she was very important to all of us here, and many more that couldn't be here today. So, thank you so much.